guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Gentlemen, do I have a story to tell you all today? So this is a 24 pill, obviously. Well, this 24 pill came into my possession not one, not two, but 3 years ago. This nice gentleman calls me up and says, "Hey BBI, man, I like what you're doing out there. You're smoking, you're doing a bunch of good stuff. I've got a 24 pill that's way down on power. I want to send it out to you and let you take a look at it." I said, "Send it up." So at the time I was running like 4 or 5 months behind on repairs. Now, let me explain to you how this works. I would take a month and I'd do new builds, and then I'd flip and I'd go and I'd do a month and do repairs. That was back 3 years ago. Well, his turn finally comes up, and I got a bunch of phone numbers for the guy. I mean, he left me his home phone and his cell phone, and I go and I call, and I don't get any answer. None. No response. I text. I mean, I even wrote the guy a letter. I said, "Hey man, I got your amp out here. What do we want to do with it? What's going on?" So I didn't take a lot of time and look at it at that time because I couldn't get a hold of the owner. And you all know me. If I can't get a hold of anybody, I ain't going to touch nothing. So about the first year, about every month or so, I'd call him. And I finally just kind of gave up. I was like, well, I got other things, and life is busy and full over here. There's a lot of stuff going on between this business, the other business, and the tow trucking thing I do from time to time. It's busy. And I put a towel on this thing and I set it up on the top shelf of my shelving units here and just left it alone. And I figured, man, I hope somebody, I was calling, I'd leave a message like, "Hi, my name is BBI," and I'm leaving this on his home phone, right? "Hi, this is BBI. I have some property for so-and-so sitting here. Can somebody call me?" So I'd done that 2 or 3 times. I was hoping and praying the family would call me. So about a month ago, this gentleman calls me up and goes, "Hey man, how you doing?" I said, "Jesus, dude, where you been?" Please note 3 years have gone by. 3 years. I said, "Dude, what's going on, man? Where you been?" And he goes, "Well, I gotta be honest with you, man. I got real sick." I said, "Jesus, dude, I thought you died. I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody." He goes, "Well, I almost did, twice." I said, "Oh, shit." So I chatted with him for probably 30 minutes. I said, "Well, man, I got good news for you. I still got your box." There's actually 2 of them here. The other one he doesn't want to even bother to have rebuilt. It's pretty tore up. Anyhow, he's going to give it to a friend of his to play with. If I was any other shop, I would have kept the thing for 90 days, and without having contact with anybody for 90 days, the thing most likely would have been sold. Repaired and sold. I sat on this amp for 3 years. I've got 2 others that are running real long in time like that too. I've got a 16 pill and a couple others. They're just hanging out. One I got contact information, the other one I don't. But I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "Jesus, dude, 3 years." He's like, "Well, man, I want to get it fixed and we'll put it back in my truck." He goes, "I finally got all my health issues straight. I'm ready to go." I said, "All right, well, right on. I'll rotate you into the schedule." So, stuff happens, and time went on. I went and held a break, and a whole bunch of shit happened, and he contacted me last week. He goes, "Hey, we had a chance to even look at that." And I said, "No, shit, bro, I totally forgot." So here we are today. Now, we're going to take a quick lap for around the band here. I've got over here the bench 2 pill that's over here behind this 4 pill. 2 pill driving a 4 pill. I've got the Bird 43 with a 50-watt slug in between it and the 24. Am I zoomed all the way out? I don't think I am. No, I am not. There we go. So I got it running into the 24. Well, I'm starting out with a low drive. And let me show you what we got going on for bird meters, by the way. That's a 10 kW slug and peak, 5 kW slug and average, and a 5 watt slug back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. Okay, now that we got those baselines established, this thing's low on watts. So we're going to hit it with the 2-pill, and I want you guys to see what it does. So first, with the 10,000 watt slug and peak and 5,000 watt slug and average, let me show you what we're going to put into it for drive. So here's the 2-pill with the 2950 hit it. Hello. So 2-pill looks like on a 10,000 watt slug and peak. Hello. You guys are all going, what? I can't see it. Let's zoom in here. Hello. So turn on the 2x4. Hello. 1,000 watts peak, 10,000 watt slug, 5,000 watt slug on the left there. Hello. About 450 bird. Okay. We're gonna start down on the 2-pill for right now. Hello. 500 watts. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll kick on the 24-pill. We're at 14.2 underneath the load on the power supply. Hello. A measly 4,000 watts. Hello. And just about 1,000 watts peak. That's with 500 going in. Now watch what happens when I hit it with the 4-pill. 2,000 peak. Pardon me, 5,000 peak. And about 1,800 bird. That's with 1,000 watts of drive, 500 bird drive. What you're supposed to put in these for drive. We're not doing anything crazy for volts, but this amp should put out a whole lot more power. So, now that we're armed with that knowledge in our heads, we start looking around. So now it's time to go get data. Now that we know something's low. Well, this is your output ring. This is your input ring. These two resistors are getting hot. This one and this one. Right here and right here. So it tells me that whatever's attached to this section, which leads us back to here, there's something wrong in that section. It doesn't take much to pull the whole box down. Now, if we stop and we take a quick mental note of what's going on around the inside of the cabinet, because remember, we got to be armed with like the massive detective skills. Because nobody will tell you, oh, it went down, or it blew up, or it had this happen, or it had that happen, and that's the reason it... They just tell you, oh man, it fell out in watts, fix it. We have a replaced resistor. None of these other resistors match this one. And so then we really start looking, and whoever did the transistor swap on this did a great job. And the reason I say that is because they use the exact same 10 ohm resistor that was used in all of these. Right here. This transistor has been replaced. So something in this 4-pill section is out of balance with the rest of the box. We know that because our combiner ring over here on this port, which attaches to this 4-pill, this port is getting hot. These two resistors. So it's sucking up the differential balance between this port and this port from this port. Okay, so now that we know that, we've established a baseline. We can go ahead and we can tear some of this apart. Now there's certain things in here that I see that I don't like. This tuning wire, when I flex it, this whole joint attached to this doorknob is cold. On the input circuitry over here, you can't see it from this angle. Only half of this is soldered down and it's also cold. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this from power, I'm going to flip the box around, and we're going to go rip this 4-pill section over here apart, and we're going to figure out what happened. I have a feeling it's either this tuning cap that's gone bad, or one of these input caps has gone bad. We're going to find it. We're going to find out what the imbalance is. We're going to do a couple very light upgrades to this thing, most likely power wires. We're going to upgrade those, make it so it runs a little bit better. As soon as we find the imbalance, I'm going to show you what that is, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to play with our output tune section. So there's a couple things there I don't like as well, so we're going to change those. We're going to add my Mochismo to it. And on that note, I shall return. Well, we're back. It's been probably 3 weeks since I was looking at the inside of this box. And the reason it's been so long is I've had so much other stuff going on. Man, I've had clients coming to town. I've had everybody and their brother come through here, and I've had a ton of stuff go on. And I know this guy's probably at this point feeling like I'm pushing him to the back burner, but that's not the case. I've had so much stuff happen that I haven't had a chance to really come along and shoot the wrap-up video for this thing. Brother, your amplifier's fixed. Been here 3 years, as we just covered in the previous video. And all the problems that you were having with it, we went through and we went ahead and we fixed. First things first is your output port. We changed this. We took this all apart. First, we got rid of the little hoopy wire that was here. We went to an actual tuned inductor coil, tuned this out, changed the doorknob out, and then added a variable capacitor in line so we could dial it in perfectly, which we're now dialed in perfectly. On the input side, we added yet another capacitor because we were all the way chooched out on the input capacitance, and we needed about another 30 to 40 more puff. So we changed that. Next thing I did is I went and I took all the power wire, pulled it up loose, loosened up this nut, and slid the power wire in by about 2 inches, and then put the stand on here. That way the stand wasn't laying across your input splitter. Very important. Re-zip tied everything back up nice and neat and clean, and then we went in and did the full Monty deal. Come to find out, we had a broken wire over here on the output combiner. And yeah, it's been so long that I got my tattoo done, and it's all healed since between the first portion of this video and this portion. We had one of the 140 puff capacitors quit here, and that's what's causing half the box to lay down. So then I went through and I did the full power wire upgrade. I cleaned it, washed the inside of the box. Your connectors that were on your capacitors, they were all loose and they weren't doing you any good. So I went ahead and I tightened all that down, resoldered, I believe, this ground, and reattached the fan, and the box come right back to life. Couple small little issues, not a big deal, easy fix, easy fix. Change some parts, change some wires, done. So let me put the tin on this thing and let me run around the lap before we get started. We're going to use the bench 2-pill, driving the bench 4-pill. We're going to use the derail Wolfman CB shop radio to drive the 2-pill into the 4, and we're going to run that into 24. Okay, so let me get the lid put on this thing so we got air flowing across everything. We're going to turn on the 1000 amp power supply for the bench, and let's hit it and quit it. So give me just a second. We're going to put the tin on it, screw it all the way back up. I'm going to put some capped on tape on these two before I put the lid on. So let me do that. Put the tin on it. And brother, you're all fixed. All 24 of your Toshibas are ready to come home. You got all new resistors on the output that all match. Your combiner ring has been completely rebuilt. New power distribution network. You're set. This thing is going to run forever. So let's do it to it. Okay. So let's take us around and establish a unit of measure. Gentlemen, that's a 10,000 watt slug in peak, 5,000 watt slug in average, 5 watt slug back in reverse from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load, which we need to change that. We need to go to a 50 watt slug, because for every 10 watt or every 1,000 watts, we're going to see roughly a watt come back. So we're going to probably get, perfect working, ideal, optimal conditions, which we can't totally provide on the workbench, but we come really darn close to it, is going to be roughly about 6,000 to 7,000 peak and about 2,000 to 3,000 bird. Okay, we're going to get really close to that. So that's what we're shooting for with very minimalistic drive. You can drive it, you can take like a 35 watt radio, hit an 8-pill into a 24. Most guys aren't going to do that. They're going to hit it with a 2x4 or a 2x6. We're going to use a 2x4. If I see 6,000 out of this, we're going to call it a day. So 10,000 in peak. We're going to see about 6-7 watts of reflect coming back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. That's the reason we pulled the 5 watt slug out. Like I said, we're going to use the derail radio to drive it, and it's going to get loud in here. But first things first is we're going to plug in the fans for the dummy load because it's going to get hot. And then we're going to come up on just the 4 pill. So let me grab the derail radio. It's a straight 4 pill with a derail radio hitting it. That's on a 10,000 watt slug. That's so impressive, isn't it? Let's turn on the 2x4. Right on. Now, we're going to have a little bit of RF leaking out here. Let me show you how to read this slug. We're going to read that bottom scale and we're going to add 2 zeros to it. Okay? So the 20 is 2 grand, 40 is 4,000, 60 is 6,000, 80 is 8,000, and a 10 is 10,000. This slug here, which is a 5 kW, we're going to read that middle scale, add 2 zeros. The 10 is going to be 1,000, and so on and so on. This one here, we're going to read the middle scale in reverse. This is our line coupler with our 40 dBm knockdown. I can't do the spectral shot on this one. It'll overload my network analyzer and kill it. I need to build a 70 dB attenuator for this particular situation. And once again, we're getting ready to change all this out. So we're just going to run with it. Okay, so about 980 watts of drive coming out of the 2 driving 4 here. So we'll start out on the 4 pill. About 5,000, 4,800 peak. And about 2,000 bird. Let's go ahead, we're going to click on our 2 pill now. About 5,800 peak. And about 3,300 bird average peak. Now, we're running the radio and we're running the 2 pill on just 12 volts. So go ahead and we'll shut this down. Let's bring on the 2 power supplies down there. We're going to come up to 14 volts now. About 500 bird and about 1,000 peak watts. So we're not going to see that much more performance. Maybe a couple hundred watts peak. Maybe a few hundred more watts bird. But that's what we're doing. Picked up a couple hundred watts peak. About 4,100 bird. This amp is screaming. We're going to kill the 2x4. And we're going to kill the 24. Man, brother, I appreciate your patience. I know you've been super relaxed with me, man, but you got to extend me just a little bit of patience of your own. In all fairness, you disappeared on me for 3 effing years. Now, me personally, I feel a certain way about this situation. I know that if this amp was sent to any other shop probably on Earth, after 3 years, that shop most likely would have sold your equipment. I'm not that guy. It just comes, it hangs out, chills out, and it's never going anywhere. And I'm really proud of that. I mean, I'm grateful that you're doing good. I'm grateful that you made a good recovery, and I'm excited that you're going to be able to get this thing back. When you get it back, it's going to have a BBI sticker on the front of it, and I want you to wear that with pride. Because if you would have sent your amp anywhere else, I'm pretty sure that it most likely would have been sold for storage at this point. All that aside, you're fixed, the amplifier's right, it's been loved on incredibly a lot, it's been well taken care of, and it's ready to come home, and I'm ready to see you jump on and get your name called on the air. Gentlemen, my name is BBI. If you have any problems, any questions, anything, don't hesitate to call this number right here. from the guy that loves the game so much that he took his primary tool and had it inked into his skin permanently from now until the end of time. My name is BBI, and without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest damn mud duck in Idaho. Not by a little, but by an astronomical amount. And I'm proud that I get to be here, help every single one of you guys get your stuff straight, right, and get you back on the air. Come follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and of course right here. If this is your first time checking out the channel, man, do us both a favor, and even if it's not your first time, do us a favor. Click the like button. Makes both of us feel good. And in the same breath, if you're checking us out for the first time and you enjoy having a shop that has integrity, that will back it up and always answer the phone and always will reply to your emails and will always reply to your texts, click subscribe and I'll do what I can to help. Gentlemen, I gotta go. I got a ton of other stuff I need to go get done. I got a bunch of people crawling inside and out all over my phone saying, help me, help me, help me, and I've got to go help take care of them. Brother, I'm glad we were able to get you fixed. It's a very, very relatively cheap repair. It's not going to cost you much. And on the other end of things, I'm not going to charge you a damn dime for storage. I'm just glad you're okay. I'm glad you've made a full recovery. And I'm glad that we're going to be able to help get you on the air. I'll see you guys. Bye.